Hey there, toy collector friends and Battlestar Galactica fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I am the time-traveling toy collector, and this is the Cylon Raider from the classic Battlestar Galactica series back at the back end of the 1970s, as piloted by Cylon warriors in pursuit of the Colonials, who are fleeing in, of course, Battlestar Galactica and the ragtag fleet that they are protecting. So this is from the Hero Collector Battlestar Galactica official ships collection, and it is the classic Cylon Raider to accompany the Classic Viper that we've already had a look at. Let me spin this around for you gently. As with the previous Battlestar Galactica starships, I think we can immediately acknowledge, see, look how quickly it takes for debris to get into the old mix there. We can very clearly see from the off that this is a very well proportioned, well put together and well detailed ship. Another one there. So as we've done a bit of a 360, let's have a little look at it head on. So this was the formidable fighter that the Cylons used to attack and devastate much of the Colonial fleet, launching from their base starships, which have, by the way, also been released by Battlestar Galactica official collection from Hero Collector and Eagle Moss, and at some point I'm sure we will look at those in the near future. If you'd like to be notified when such a thing happens, do make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications whilst you're about it. So, Battlestar Galactica collection, look at this. It's quite a simplistic design. And I think that's one of the things that made it such an instant hit with children and fans at the time in the 70s, because it had elements that are, of course, reminiscent of the other big franchise at the time, Star Wars, but it was also sufficiently different to be new and else-like, other-like, if you know what I mean. So here, in terms of design, we have the cockpit area here. We have this very interesting wings structure, which has these trenches with the embedded guns. Alas, you can see that my guns are slightly bent. I don't know if that's some sort of subliminal messaging, but that's the case. They are sort of plasticky, so they are bendable. So I may well try in my own time to reshape that slightly. The rest of it, as you'll find, well, I can tap it and you'll see. So we do have a combination of die cast and plastics in there, which does make it actually quite a hefty piece when it comes to picking it up, which I'll do momentarily. But yeah, so we have the cockpit area here. We have the divided wing section here with the embedded cannons. The Centurion pilots would sit inside there. Beautiful surface detailing. There's the Silurian symbol, which I believe did translate across into the reboot from the 2000s, but we can check that at another point. The engine, I'm going to sort of turn around to the back for now, and then I'll pick it up and have a bit of a look at it in close-up. I really love the level of detailing here. I'm going to zoom in a bit more for you. The level of detailing here on the rear of this ship. I know I'm a fan of majority of Eagle Moss detailing, but this is really lovely. So we've got some what look to me like intake valves. There's also some intake valves below the front. But here this is very reminiscent, including the thrust that you can see is illustrated here in this blue paint decals here. It screams 1970s practical prop to me. You know, this isn't something that screams CGI. This says to me 1970s practical prop, set up in the studio in a field somewhere where it's being abandoned. And I love that. I love how Hero Collector have managed to capture that evocative sense of 1970s practical prop starship, or practical model for model shots, and yet it still has that authenticity that I love. And by that I mean, if you look at some of the surface scoring, so yeah, we have all of this surface detailing, the cogs, and we have some wiring, some surface wiring visible, and again here there's lots of detailing that suggests this is a functional, not super smooth, super sleek, futuristic vehicle. It's a functional thing. It's a practical thing that does operate in the real world of our imaginations, admittedly. But you can see here on the paint detailing, there is wear and tear, and I love this. I think this is something that always sets good sci-fi, even if the budget isn't there in the first time around, to really make this apparent. But it where you can see it's lived in, rather than it's that gleaming white nonsense that can never be sustainable. No offense to those sci-fi franchises who've lent heavily into that, but there's a sense here of it being dusty and dirty and grimy from the fuel. There's sort of dirty scoring along the sides of the wings, along the main part of the fuselage here. This is a ship that's seen some action, probably some action against those pesky Vipers. And I really like that. And it's not too much. It's not to the point where it detracts from the quality of the ship. And there's some really nice and interesting front detailing there. I don't want to say that they're headlamps, because that would be ridiculous, but we've got some lovely headlamps there. And so I've brought this in nice and tight, so you can really see the quality of this model and, well, this build overall. I'm going to pull out slightly because I'm going to take it in hand so I can bring it a little closer to us. This is a very nice display as well. I'm just going to look at the base for a second. I don't tend to do that, but I will do. This is quite a lovely wide platform with a nice indentation here, and you'll see where that, if I show you the underside here, there is where that connects to in terms of supporting it. And you can see here, so I appreciate that I've gone upside down and backwards here, but you can see that level of surface detailing is as powerful on the underside of the ship as it is on the top. So you can see again we have that scoring that is indicative of the sort of messy war footing that the Cylons are on with the Colonials. And I really like that. I really think that works particularly well. And there's quite a lot of it to be seen, like carbon scoring around the engine area, which I think that's a nice touch. I just think that's a lovely touch. You can see how that's built up around here. I really think that works. It's nearly as dirty as I am, so I'm trying not to get too much dirt on the ship. I was really excited, having received it, to get it straight into a video for you all. So you can see there's what looks like to me some sort of intakes there. The ship is light. It's a lightweight fighter, but it does have a bit of heft. You can feel where that die-cast elements is in the center of the build. But it sort of spreads out with a bit more of a plastic sense to it. But it has a very, very, very distinctive and iconic design. Anyone that's a fan of the Classic series or Battlestar Galactica 1980, if like me you even know what that is, then you're going to look at this and you'll be like, wow, this takes me right back to watching that slightly creaky but ever so adorable sci-fi series. And also elements were recreated in the reboot, which we mustn't overlook or forget, and we won't. We'll be moving on to some of those vessels real soon. But I really think this is a lovely build and a lovely sculpt, and we can see from every angle this delivers. And you'll see when I include some photos of toy photography model shots at the end of this. I'll put it into a starscape and you'll see what I mean. Even that vent there at the center of the engine section there, it's really well sculpted. Now again, I'm not going to get into a discussion here on how utterly screen accurate or not it is, because I honestly don't know. What I do know is what I see, and what I see here is a model that for me evokes everything it needs to evoke and everything that I've paid for. Now, to be fair, I did get it in a bit of a sale. You know me and my Eagle Moss sales. So I appreciate that the standard price is a little higher than I paid for it. But nevertheless, I think I would pay the full price for this. It's a beautiful design. And it looks really good when up against a Viper. And at some point, if you follow me on my Instagram page, which is the Time Travelling Toy Collector, surprisingly, you may well see the Battlestar Galactica ships being lined up and put into action together. I almost don't want to put it down. There's a very kinetic. There's something very kinetic about it. I really enjoy holding on to. Anyway, so yeah, I mentioned earlier on about this. So let me turn this upside down so I can show you. So you see, this is where I'm trying to see what I'm doing and can't. It connects where that port is, so it gives it ever so slightly an added layer of support at the centre of gravity. So I think that's really good. But yeah, so here we are, the Cylon Raider from classic Battlestar Galactica, lovingly reproduced by Hero Collector and Eagle Moss, and part of their official Battlestar Galactica ships collection. Gosh, I think I'm almost kicking myself for being so slow and late to the party for this, because I think this is amazing, and certainly the other ships I've already picked up I think are amazing too. So I've got some lovely upcoming videos for Battlestar Galactica that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. I have set up a Battlestar Galactica playlist, so you might want to subscribe to that if you're interested in Battlestar Galactica ships, because there are going to be quite a few more coming your way. Okay, so big question, does this Cylon Raider have a place in your collection? Well, it certainly has a place in mine, and I'm really pleased that I've got it, and really cross that it took me so long to pick it up. But I have it now, so I'm grateful for that. Does it have a place in your collection? Well, if you're a fan of the show, and you've got any of the other ships, then I would suggest that you go for it. That would be my recommendation. And again, if you're not too sure, keep an eye out for when there's a sale on. They routinely do special offers, money off. Keep an eye out, follow them, and they're very good. Once you've made a purchase, you will get regular emails telling you, if you allow them to send them, you'll get regular emails telling you when they're doing special deals and special offers, which is often 20% off, 50% off, 15% off, 10% off. There's all sorts of things, you know. Sometimes even for writing a review, you'll get a money off code. So worth thinking about, I would suggest. Does it have a place in your collection? As I say, I think it probably does, but hopefully having a chance to see this up close and personally, you'll be able to make your own mind up about that, and I very much hope that it's in the positive. But either way, happy to be of some help in making that decision with you. If it has in any way helped, or you just like looking at the ship, do smash that like button, because it really helps. It helps me, helps the channel. And as I say, you might want to subscribe and never miss a future video. You have been a fantastic audience. Thanks for staying with me for the last 15 minutes. This has been the Battlestar Galactica Classic Cylon Raider, and I have been the Time Travelling Toy Collector. Thanking you very much for sticking around. Do please watch the last couple of seconds so that you can see some pictures of the ship in action. And I guess it just remains for me to remind you that A Thing of Beauty really is a toy forever. So say we all.